What's up? It's Dan McDonald, Life Regenerator here on YouTube. Today we are going to talk about relaxation. I got my little microphone hanging here, so hopefully the sound is decent. We've all been through a lot of stress last couple years, and we're kind of coming to the end of the real tight grip. And so what I wanted to do was just make a video today to encourage everyone to find ways to eliminate stress and simplify life so that your nervous system can be more in the parasympathetic state, which is the healing state. So taking time out of your busy day to train yourself to go into the parasympathetic state. If you're really in a state of needing to heal after maybe many years of chronic stress, which really is one of the underlying most influential factors in disease, because it shuts down the systems. To oversimplify it, stress on the various levels, shuts down the systems, especially if it is chronic. Now, some stress is good, like a workout that is a certain type of stress, but a chronic unconscious stress may be from resisting the inner promptings of your path in life, or finding yourself in certain circumstances where you are stuck or addicted and attached, and mentally you're unable to map a way out. So it can be very stressful, and then a lot of times we can go on to different types of chemicals for relief. And so untangling ourselves can be quite a journey. I call it untying the knots. And what you'll see as you become more aware and more self-aware and more conscious, and or mindful is another good term for it. It's really an observation and a witness of the inner workings, really, how the mind is affecting the heart and the body, and learning how to watch your mind so that you don't continually repeat patterns over and over again. Becoming aware of those patterns gives you an opportunity to circumvent or displace. One good philosophy is to continually accentuate the positive until there is no negative, And so, develop good habits to displace the bad habits, or those things that are causing detriment, stress, or pain. And we've all had that. I don't think there's any human being that hasn't found themselves in those types of predicaments. So awareness is the key, and then resetting the compass to end up in a different place than where those stressful attachments, knots are setting you out to end up in the hospital with a disease. Because when you are stressed in that chronic state, I just wanted to briefly mention the beneficial stresses. It's good to challenge yourself consciously. It's when we are challenged unconsciously for prolonged periods of time without that breakthrough that we begin to see specifically digestive issues. The system must be in a parasympathetic state in order to digest. Also, a parasympathetic state where you are relaxed, calm, receptive, and at ease is very important for any kind of healing. Usually what happens is unconsciously we find ourselves in stressful situations when we're less spiritually mature or less mindful, or just tracking through our unconscious programs from childhood. We get into these situations where we, for prolonged periods of time, have had chronic stress, and that ends up manifesting itself in some sort of dis-ease. And depending upon how long it goes and how many different drugs or sort of distractions. So you've got pharmaceutical drugs which suppress your body's desire to show you it's trying to tell you something. That's what these little acute situations are. Anywhere from a cold. A cold is trying to tell you something. Usually that your body is overloaded with mucus and the bacteria have proliferated to a point where it has saturated your body to the point where now the immune system has to respond, which then is indicative of, oh, you ate too much during the holidays, take a few days off to fast or to juice or to eat some fruits or just drink tea for a few days and let the overburden of mucus, to be washed away from your body. Then your immune system and your blood flow and your lymphatic system can function optimally again. In other cases where it may be more chronic, you end up with different types of stage 3 and stage 4 types of cancer where you've got a lot of stagnant energy because the energy hasn't been able to move, either because a lot of times it's just simply a separation from nature or natural wholesome things like spending time in a water where you can really relax, spending time in nature, too much time around technology and carpets and buildings with a lot of electrical fields and whatnot, and never having an opportunity to discharge that. So if someone's in like a corporate job for many years, that unconscious stress, that environment can really build up. So I'm just, trying to share some ideas here. I very much prioritize, so I would do with a lot less to have more of the health and the ease and the awareness and not get the diseases, because I'm not a big fan of the medical establishment as far as their ways of treating, because that's what they do, they treat. And those drugs, I digress back to the cold, those drugs suppress, your body's desire to show you, to guide you, to help you. Disease, and a lot of people give me a hard time for this, but this is just one viewpoint that you could take. Disease is your body trying to show you something, trying to communicate to you. The divine intelligence is giving you these acute, and or if you weren't paying attention to those, or you were suppressing the acute symptoms, it ends up as a chronic more of a chronic issue where you have to do a little bit more work and track back even more conscientiously. The acute can be like, okay, this guy, I've been dating him for 3 weeks, I don't like it, it's stressing me out, I'm done. You go the other way, you're a few days away from him and you feel better, You might have had some acute neurosis or some anxiety, like your insides are trying to tell you this is not the right guy, you're going the wrong direction, he might be handsome, but your insides are telling you, so a little acute, which is like a short term, like, hey, flashing red light, the red lights, red flags, and their anxiety, and something's telling you, and you listen, and you do something about it. Then it's not then it's only an acute issue, and you get away from this guy for a few days, your system calms down, he texts you, you don't text him back, you know that your insides are strong enough to move on. Then, but you might be like, oh, he's so handsome and I'm so lonely and he's got a lot of money and he's so well dressed, but you're not listening to the fact that he might be like narcissistic or abusive, and you maybe are not astute enough to listen to the red flags. You get involved in this relationship and you get stuck for many years. Those acute conditions can become chronic. So then you would need more intensive counseling or, intervention or whatnot. So try to nip the stress in the bud and try to be aware and learn to listen to what your body is telling you about environments, people. It can be as simple as like a smart meter outside your house. There's so many little things that you got to look for. But suffice to say, getting out into the sunlight, breathing fresh air, getting a good night's sleep in the dark, turning off your phone at night, having a nice, regular, repetitive, regulated lifestyle can be very good. Having a nice time to go to bed, a time to wake up, a nice flow throughout your day, a system in place where you can get a nice flow going. And there's always going to be something that comes up during the day, but with a well-regulated pattern, your body can get into a nice flow, and you can be more aware of when things are awry. So it's really a matter of loving yourself enough to make strong decisions that will lead to your benefit and your self-care and the simplification of your life. It takes courage to simplify in an overcomplicated world. But simplicity is beautiful because then you don't have as much stress. And it's nice to live a simple, stress-free lifestyle. I hope this video helped you in one way or another. This is a broad subject, but untying the knots through awareness. I like meditation, but there's also all kinds of exercise, walking, going to church is a good vibration where you're getting yourself into a higher frequency and looking for those higher, more expanded frequencies, whether it's the content you consume on the internet, the books you read, the food you eat, and the way you take care of yourself. One massage therapist you feel so rejuvenated afterwards. Another one, you didn't get much relief at all. So you find out and you learn more and more, and you become more sensitive to yourself, and you honor your sensitivity. A lot of times what we do in this society is we dumb ourselves down with fluoride and drugs and food and entertainment and excessive sex. And we are just dumbed down instead of being bright and clear, so that we can have the higher levels of awareness and inner sensitivity to help ourselves to unwind and unravel the knots that constrict us into these states of stress. So I wish you all a relaxed, peaceful, easy, and effortless life, really, because being conscious is what you are. You are consciousness. And we can be very much more at ease if we are willing to let go and make adjustments and listen and trust our own inner promptings as we unwind, let go, and release our grip on the world. Thank you for watching this video. Be blessed.